Hi, I'm Sean from Data.
And I'm Paul from HP.
And in this video, we're going to look at installing, setting up, and commissioning our new A2 audio microphones. All right, Paul, let's get started. Can you pass me over the new A2 audio bridge?
Sure thing, Sean. Let's see what's in the box.
All right, so in the box, we've got the new A2 bridge in a non-plastic bag.
Completely recyclable.
With the new HP branding. You'll notice we have switches at the front which will have different levels or classes of PoE. So we'll have PoE class 4, 5, 6, and 8. So you can toggle that depending on how many microphones. We'll refer you to the guide depending on how many microphones you have, what PoE is required. And then on the other side here, you'll see we have the different Phoenix banks, so 4 different banks, and of course our IP RJ45 port to connect to. Now, what else have we got in the box? We've got a piece of cardboard. We've got our magnetic mounting plate, which you can use to mount under the table, behind the wall, wherever you like. And that will mount to the A2 audio bridge, as well as the PoE injector, if you have that too.
And the slots for cable management. Now, one thing to keep in mind, these tabs here does have double-sided tape, but that's only for placement, not for permanent adhesion. So mount it under the table, utilizing double-sided tape, and then screw in.
Yeah. And we'll notice in the box as well that it actually comes with some mounting screws to mount that with as well. So we've got an RJ45 network cable. And we've also got a Phoenix cable, male to female. So that will be used as an extension between the bridge itself and your first microphone, if that's even required.
Now, what you also notice there, Sean, is all the mounting hardware doesn't come in plastic bags. They're put into the box,
or paper.
The cardboard. We're really looking into sustainability. We include Velcro straps that you can reuse to keep the cables tidy with the included plates.
As well as a mounting guide and things like that in there too. So we've got a 8-meter cable there, which equates to 26 feet for our Imperial cousins. And then we've got a 3.66 meter cable, which equates to 12 feet. Okay. Let's pop that.
Put that in the box. Put that over there, Sean.
Get out of the frame.
Now, what you'll also need is a microphone. This is the A2 microphone, the tabletop microphone.
Again, with some new HP branding on the box. So we've still got the Poly Studio as the category, but so HP.
Poly Studio is the new branding convention.
Yeah.
Branding convention for all the Poly peripherals. So Poly Studio E60, Poly Studio E70, Poly Studio A2 bridge.
Excellent. And again, nice cardboard box with no plastic. Packaging, no plastic in the packaging at all. First piece of cardboard. So first up, we've got our white microphone. PK, do you have a black microphone to pass us over and compare with?
Let me grab one for you.
Thanks, Paul.
There we go.
So we've got black and white, both the same size, both come with the same inclusions in the box. You just have to specify which one you want. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Sean.
Now, this comes pre-terminated with a... Oops, got 2 cables there. Pre-terminated with a male Phoenix to a male JST plug. So if I take the bottom plate off that, after I've undone the captive screws, I've done them all the way, you'll see here we've got some space to coil the cable up inside, as well as a red port and a blue port.
What you'll also notice, Sean, is the JST cables are color-coded, same with the one that's pre-terminated.
Yeah.
So you know which port to plug into.
Red port and blue port.
Correct. And it's important to plug them in because they are wired to specific locations.
And what's unique about this microphone as well, so we can coil that cable up in there and then have it come out the side. And then if we want to connect that second cable to daisy chain, I have a dexterity to do this. We'll plug that into the blue port. Get there if I had... Yep. Plug that in. We can then coil that around and then out the other side. Might get you to help me rip that piece of cardboard off, Paul. Oh, thanks, muscles. All right. So we'll plug the blue cable in. Nice clicking sound. Coil that around. And then out the other side. And with my third hand, I'll put that base cover back on So I can then lock that in place with the screws and daisy the cable in one side, out the other side.
Now the purpose for that is, Sean, some tables you can't drill through, and we give the option for having top-mounted cabling, but we also have the ability of being able to route the cables through the bottom and into a mounting plate on the table, so all the cables are hidden and it sits on this magnetic plate, so you always know where that microphone sits on the table.
So the last cable that comes with is a female Phoenix to blue male JST plug. So that's if you wanted to daisy chain a longer distance between mic 1 and mic 2 instead of using the, what is it, a 1.8 meter cable that comes in that box, Paul? Which is the perfect length to separate the mics out by.
So that actually raises a really good point, Sean. You can always use even this cable. You can cut off the JST to a pigtail and then terminate Phoenix connector. And then this will allow you to make your own custom cable, which is purely a single pair shielded cable. Use the Phoenix plugs to extend the wires to the cable length that you want.
Now the other option is if you want to do it a little bit more professionally, if you're able to drill a hole in the table, like we've done here, we've actually got a hole through here to slip our cable through. So I've just done that on this end. I've actually tucked it through the center rather than out the side. Put that plate back on the base, and you can see that cable's hanging out the bottom. And yes, you can still have a daisy chain this way, so in one side, out the other. And that last piece that comes in that box is our magnetic mounting plate. So that fits perfectly into the base of the mic, and it also comes with some double-sided tape in the box, which is awesome. So we've stuck that to the table already, got our cable on it. If I was clever, I would have put the cable through the bottom of the table already. Oh, what would I do without you, Paul? Drop that through there, and then that will stick, if I rotate it the right way, into the magnet, not move around, and then I'd be able to leave it there. And then run it under to the other side of the table, and then terminate it into the next microphone. So that's the microphone end. So we've shown what's in the box, daisy chaining, screwing, cabling options, extensions. Paul, a question we get asked a lot is, can I terminate my own cables?
You definitely can. And to my earlier point, if you're ever wanting to make custom cable lengths, what we would recommend is you modify the existing cables that come in the box with the JST plugs, cut the cable to the desired pigtail length that you would like to have, and terminate a Phoenix port in the back of this cable here. Great thing with Phoenix connectors is that you do not need any specialized tools, any side cutters and a screwdriver. You'll be able to terminate the cables. Then as long as you've got the right cable, being a shielded single pair cable, you'll be able to extend the cables to the desired length that you need. Now keep in mind the maximum length that you can have is 144 meters. Now if you need more than that, we need to consider the room space itself. But you do have the ability of being able to extend this. Don't recommend re-terminating the JST. For ease of installation, re-terminate the Phoenix plug.
Excellent, thanks, Paul. So what I've got here now is the A2 audio bridge and our PoE Plus 45 watt power injector. So the same one we'll be using for the G62 standalone. So that's available as a poly SKU. Will be an IEC power cable to GPO to power it. And then out of it, obviously we have data in and data out. So what we'll do here is we'll wire this up. So we'll go PoE out from the PoE injector into that PoE in port on the bridge, like that. And then Paul, would you like to do the honors and hook up maybe 2 microphones? I think we've got the black one over there as well.
Oh, we can use this one here and daisy chain it.
The one we prepared earlier?
The one we prepared earlier.
Yep. But you do that. And while Paul's doing that, what we'll do is, for this setup, we'll look at the X72 or the V72 all-in-one bar. So this will probably be the most common setup that I see for larger rooms having more microphones. So what I'm going to grab that bar, bring it over here, wire it up on the other end, and then we'll look at the actual configuration of that on the web interface side. So here it is, the X/V72. You can see one side we've got the power port, the LLN or Poly Studio Net port. That usually will have a rubber cap over it out of the box. The network or LAN RJ45 port, the RJ11 expansion mic port, and then our 3.5mm ports. And then on the other side, we've got our USB and HDMI ports. So pop it down here. So we've got our network port from our corporate network, which I'm going to plug into the LAN port, so the top RJ45 port, and that satisfying click sound, which you might not have because we have our NoiseblockAI enabled. And then on the other end, I'm going to get my LLN, so same Ethernet cable that you'd use for anything else, into that Poly LLN or StudioNet port. We're just using different colored cables to make it easier to see in this video, but of course you can use whatever cables you like. That is then going to plug into the network in of the PoE injector, get its power out, plus the network into the A2 audio bridge. So what's important here, Paul, I suppose, is that this isn't accessing our corporate network. This is just part of the Studio LLN Studio Net.
Correct.
It's essentially just a hub.
And the idea is that it's plug and play, auto detects, auto assigns. The only thing you may need to do is upgrade the firmware just to make sure that it works the best way possible. But once it connects to that LLN or the Poly Studio Net, the whole idea is for it to be plug and play.
So what we'll do now is we'll cut to that of logging into the web interface of the bar, ensuring that firmware is up to date, and then looking at that device list and seeing the audio bridge and the microphones pop up on there as well.
Navigate to the web interface of the X, V, or G series device. On the left-hand side, go to General Settings, then Device Management. Check for updates, remembering the A2 requires a minimum of 4.6. Once the update is complete, restart your device. Sign back in, navigate to General Settings, then Device Management. Scroll down and ensure the A2 is connected to your codec. All done.
Thanks, Paul. So that's our first setup, and probably what I see is our most common setup in terms of deployments out there.
Hi, Sean. Let's try the X52 now.
All right, Paul. So here we've got the X52 / the V52. Different to the X72, we've only got one network port on here, being the corporate network. And then we've also got power ingest, USB, and our RJ11 for the old school expansion mic. And then on the other side, we've got HDMI and USB-C. So this one's a little bit different. So from the start, what we'll actually be doing is connecting the LAN first into the LAN port. We'll cut over to the web interface now, where we'll ensure it's up to date. What's that magic version number, Paul, we're looking for?
4.6.
4.6.
Yep.
Okay. So
navigate to the web interface of the X, V, or G series device. On the left-hand side, go to General Settings, then Device Management. Check for updates, remembering the A2 requires a minimum of 4.6. Once the update is complete, restart your device.
Okay, so once that's up to date, we'll power the bar down. We'll actually take that network port out and connect our RJ45 to USB cable or cable adapter, which is HP skew again.
Yep.
Plug that in.
Now, very importantly, only the HP SKU will work.
Only one supported. So we'll get that. We'll then plug that into one of the free USB ports on the bar here.
Must be the USB-A port.
Yeah, not USB-C. So that's connected up there.
And now what that has done, Sean, that's now become the primary network port to connect to your production network for internet access. The onboard port has become the local link or the Studio Net port.
There you go. So now we'll actually be using that RJ45 port that Paul's just mentioned, plugging in our PAP cable, connecting that into the PoE injector into the in port, and then out of the PoE injector into the network port on the A2 bridge. And again, Paul's got those mics, so he's got two of them daisy chained.
Sign back in, navigate to General Settings, then Device Management. Scroll down and ensure the A2 is connected to your codec.
Chained. How many can the V and X52 bars support, Paul?
Today we support up to 4.
4 microphones. That can be daisy chained all off one bank on the A2 bridge, so up to 4 off that, or you can have 4 individually running off that bridge. And I suppose it's good to mention that the reason we have those 4 different banks is so you can have cables going off in different directions. So if you have a network port that comes up in the middle of the table like we do over here, one bank comes this way, one bank goes the other way.
Correct.
Okay, so that's it for our X/V 52 bars. So we need that USB adapter as an extra on the BOM, but then we're still having the A2 bridge, the PoE plus 45 watt injector, up to 4 microphones, and making sure we're configuring the device first, then changing the cables, then restarting the bar with power.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. So here's the X32 now. So this one is probably the most unique in the entire portfolio. Keeping in mind that this bar is powered by PoE++ 65 watts.
That's right.
Meaning there's no separate network port from power port. So starting off, we'll have it set up. We'll have our PoE++ 65 watt injector. We'll connect our corporate network LAN into the in port of that. And then another blue network port out. So with that PoE in there now, plugging into the in port. So that will now power the bar up and give it network. So what we'll do here is we'll log into the web interface and we'll make sure it's up to date with
4.6.
4.6 again.
At a minimum.
At a minimum.
Navigate to the web interface of the X, V, or G series device. On the left-hand side, go to General Settings, then Device Management. Check for updates, remembering the A2 requires a minimum of 4.6. Once the update is complete, restart your device.
Minimum. Now from here, gets a little bit mind melting. Well, certainly still is for me.
Just a little tricky.
It's a little bit tricky. So what we're going to be doing, I'll just move that out of the way.
So we'll power off the device first.
Power off the device. So network cable out. We're then going to take our corporate network out of the PoE++ 65 watt injector, connect that up to the HP RJ45 to USB adapter again, which is a supported adapter port. Plug that in there into a USB port.
Yep.
That will now do the corporate network like that.
That's right.
Now what we're going to need here is get rid of this cable because it's no longer corporate network. We're now working with the LLN. So from the out port of the PoE injector.
So power out.
Yeah, this is the PoE++ 65 watts. So let's go the PoE out into the in port of this. So that's going to power the bar. We're then going to bring over our A2 bridge with PoE+ 45 watt injector. we're going to connect network into the power or network in on the other injector. And then with a third cable, we're going to connect the power out of the injector into the A2 bridge. So we've got network completely separate, powering the bar, a different PoE injector powering the bridge, and then network between the two of them. So it's pretty impressive setup, but it works.
Sign back in, navigate to General Settings, then Device Management. Scroll down and ensure the A2 is connected to your codec.
So that's it for the X32. All right, Paul. So here we have the Stuido USB replacement being the Stuido V12, which is a USB bar. Okay, so it's different to the X series and the V series very slightly because it doesn't have that onboard Android chipset. So this will be for your small rooms up into about that 4.5 by 4.5 meter. Now, Paul, what's unique about this bar?
Yeah, so this bar here, we tried to make it as sustainable as possible and have multiple abilities to be able to power the device, but be as smart as it can to deliver all the in-room experiences that you need. So what we have is the ability of being able to power this device via PoE over here or USB. So we've got the PoE injector.
The camera real quick.
Yep.
So we've got the little Thunderbolt or the lightning port there for USB-C 65 watts power.
Correct.
So a laptop power supply. And then the PoE plus 65 watts, same as the X32.
Yep.
So two options there.
So, Sean, while you still have the camera up there, do you want to show the Phoenix connector for the expansion microphone?
We've also got, just down here is the, where is it? The expansion microphone port.
Yep.
Being the Phoenix connector.
Then you got your two USB-A ports, which are the peripheral ports. So if you use this as a bridge for keyboard, mouse, or dongles, anything else you want to connect. And then the USB-C with the data symbol is what you connect to your Windows MTR, your Zoom Room, or your laptop.
Yeah, for BYOD.
For BYOD, yeah.
Correct.
So you can choose, you only need to choose one of these options. I always recommend to connect it to your network. So you have the ability of being able to manage this device using our complimentary poly lens service. So PoE. You also have the ability of using a 65 watt USB charger, like we said before, and to connect it to your network.
Yep.
And to connect your A2 microphone, it goes into that Phoenix connector as so. Now, you can only have one microphone, but it does have an awesome audio pickup, so we do cover that range, and they work in tandem with the onboard microphones.
Okay, so only one microphone for the V12, so we can't daisy chain multiple off that.
Yep.
I guess the idea being that if you need more microphones, you would go up for the next size bar.
Correct.
The V52 or the V72. Now, Paul, when you say in tandem, what does that mean?
Yeah, excellent question, Sean. So when you plug in the tabletop microphone, it doesn't take over the microphone capability for the room. It works with the onboard microphone. And where this becomes useful, if we have this in the center of the table and we're sitting towards the front and we are talking cross table, we will be picked up by the closest microphone being that tabletop microphone. Now, if I'm engaging with the far end participant, then I turn my back to this microphone and start talking to the front room display. The best microphone to pick up my voice will be that front room display on the V12, and that's the microphone that's used to pick up my voice.
Excellent. Good stuff. Thanks, Paul. All right, Paul, last but certainly not least is the G62 Codec. So this is our, again, magnetic modular room codec. So larger than that X72 space, we'll need to split things out into separate microphones, speakers, and cameras. We'll be using the G62. Alternatively, in the Windows-based world, you'd have the G9 Plus PC.
I like to call this one your build your own video conferencing adventure.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll pop that one there. Now we'll do a simple configuration and then we'll do an advanced configuration. So simple configuration will be with the Netgear switch, Netgear AV line switch. So this is a supported switch. There is a 8-port, I think a 16 and maybe a 24.
And a 48 port.
And a 48 port.
Yep.
So we'll have those listed for what's available. Now, the main reason we're using this switch is for Precise Time Protocol 2.0. So that manages the synchronization, the packets of the audio and video at the same time to make sure we have that lip sync rather than delays across that. So we'll have that there. We'll have our brand new A2 audio bridge. We'll sit that here. We'll also need some cameras, and we'll need the PoE plus 45 watt injector for this one too. We've got the E60 PTZ camera with that network port in the back there. We'll set this guy here. And then we'll have the faithful E70 camera. So in this setup, we're probably looking at like a town hall style space where we'll have training space, boardroom, where we'll have an audience capture camera, so the wide angle lens from that, and then the E64 presenter tracking. So let's grab some cables as well. First up, corporate network, which we're going into our injector, and then out of our injector with those 45 watts of power supply into the LAN PoE port in here. Trying to do this without too messy. What's next, Paul?
Link to our AV line switch.
Out. And I'm going to plug that to any of the ports in here. So
I'd recommend port 9, as port 9 doesn't provide power. So it's a great uplink port to expand the capabilities of the G62.
So it's important to note as well, this switch is PoE plus, so it will deliver between 30 watts and 45 watts to each port. Now there's also a poly configuration profile that we need to add to that. So we'll cut to the web configuration where we'll go through that, updating the firmware, adding the configuration, and restarting that to make sure it's running as it should be. So
navigate to the web interface of the X, V, or G series device. On the left-hand side, go to General Settings, then Device Management. Check for updates, remembering the A2 requires a minimum of 4.6. Once the update is complete, restart your device. Now let's set up our Netgear switch. We'll start by heading to the Netgear website to download the latest firmware. This particular video, we're using a Netgear AV line switch with less than 16 ports, so we're going to download that firmware. Ensure you extract and save it to your computer. After you've downloaded the firmware, make sure you disconnect from your network, whether it's Wi-Fi or Ethernet LAN. We'll then connect to the OOB port on the Netgear switch using an Ethernet cable. On our computer, we'll go to Settings, Network, and then we'll edit our configuration, switching from DHCP to manual. Copy the information you see on your screen. Once we've saved that information, we'll open up a network browser page. Navigate to this IP address to be able to interface with the Netgear switch. The default credentials are simply admin with no password. Strongly encourage you to set a secure password for the switch. Once setting a password, you'll need to log back into the device through the AV UI login. On the left-hand side, select Maintenance and browse for a file. We want to get that latest firmware file that we have on our computer. Upload that firmware. Once it's complete, the switch will restart and we'll need to log back into it. For this next step, we'll go to configuration network profiles, and we'll toggle dark theme just to make sure we're doing everything right. We'll then scroll through all of the configuration profiles, looking for the poly config. There we are, Poly Studio Net Modular Room. We'll toggle all of the ports with a green tick, and we'll click Apply. We'll then save and log out of our switch.
Should be. So out of this into this, and we'll connect camera 1. We'll go with the E70.
Yep.
I'll go to the E60. Into that PoE plus port in here. So remembering that the E60 is 45 watts as well, because it's got that extra motor in it to actually swivel the camera around or pan the camera around. Then the last port will be for our A2 audio bridge. I'm going to put that in number 4 just to keep it a little bit different. Back into that port there. And then last but not least, the Phoenix cable coming from the A2 mic. So I'll plug that in to that one there as well. Now, Paul, how many microphones can we have with the A2 audio bridge with the G62 setup?
We can have up to 8 tabletop microphones.
Yep. Black or white?
Black or white, and we can have 8 tabletop microphones off one bank or split across the 4 banks.
Excellent. And we can just use those daisy chain cables that come with it, or we can terminate our own cables. Yep. Excellent. Paul, off the top of your head, do you know how long we can run the cable between the microphone and the bridge?
So the maximum length between the bridge and the furthest microphone is 140 meters.
140 meters. That's pretty impressive.
It's a very long boardroom.
Very long boardroom indeed. Okay, so that's it. We've got G62, power and data, and then separate LLN into the switch. For up to, how many cameras can we have in this setup, Paul?
On a G62, we can have up to 3 IP connected cameras.
3 cameras. So if we wanted to, we could have an extra camera in here too. So that will do power and data over that single cat cable.
And that's in any configuration. Can be 3 E70s, 3 E60s, or a combination of those 2 cameras.
And so far, and in that configuration, Paul, what platforms support up to 3 cameras?
That's Microsoft Teams and Zoom.
And Zoom. Excellent. Okay, Paul, let's look at a more advanced configuration here. So what have we got?
But we still have all the same bits and pieces here, but what we're going to do is leverage more of the power of the Netgear AV line switch. And what we're going to do is configure some VLANs.
Yeah.
So we're segregating our data network to certain ports, and we're segregating the local link on the other ports.
Yeah. So we'll switch to the web configurator now and actually show how that's done. We'll break it out. But what's really important, I guess, powerful about this switch is the fact that we can do that because it is a managed switch. It's not just a dumb switch. It's another reason it has to be this switch.
This gives you a lot of flexibility in cabling. You can have all your communication room, all your AV rooms cable back to a single location, have a flat switch, but configure all the different VLANs for those different requirements. Really simplifies the deployment.
And I suppose we'll give a shout out to Dan at Netgear for giving us this switch to do the video with.
Yeah.
Excellent. So
now let's set up our Netgear switch. We'll start by heading to the Netgear website to download the latest firmware. This particular video, we're using a Netgear AV line switch with less than 16 ports. So we're going to download that firmware. Ensure you extract and save it to your computer. After you've downloaded the firmware, make sure you disconnect from your network, whether it's Wi-Fi or Ethernet LAN. We'll then connect to the OOB port on the Netgear switch using an Ethernet cable. On our computer, we'll go to Settings, Network, and then we'll edit our configuration, switching from DHCP to manual. Copy the information you see on your screen. Once we've saved that information, we'll open up a network browser page. Navigate to this IP address to be able to interface with the Netgear switch. The default credentials are simply admin with no password. Strongly encourage you to set a secure password for the switch. Once setting a password, you'll need to log back into the device through the AV UI login. On the left-hand side, select Maintenance, and browse for a file. We want to get that latest firmware file that we have on our computer. Upload that firmware. Once it's complete, the switch will restart and we'll need to log back into it. For this next step, we'll go to Configuration Network Profiles and we'll toggle Dark Theme just to make sure we're doing everything right. We'll then scroll through all of the configuration profiles looking for the Poly config. There we are, Poly Studio Net Modular Room. We'll now toggle ports 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This will become our Poly Studio Net Modular Room VLAN. We'll apply that. Then we'll click on the default VLAN using the 3 dots. Click Edit. Then ports 7, 8, 9, and 10 will be set to the network VLAN, the IP LAN network. Apply. Save. And reboot the switch.
Start wiring that up. So we'll have E70 camera 1, E60 is camera 2. We can have a third camera, a maximum of 3 running on Teams or Zoom. And then we'll have the A2, so I'll plug that in now. Maximum of 8 microphones still.
Yep.
So that one, that one, that one. So I guess it's important here for the VLAN that we've set up. We've had ports 1 through 6 as the Poly LLN StudioNet configuration. And then the separate VLAN of ports 7, 8, and 9 are left as our corporate network.
Correct.
So we can actually have those two separated.
Yep.
Which means we don't need that pesky PoE injector anymore.
It's not pesky.
Not pesky. Well, if you're trying to find room in a rack ball, it's pesky. So we'll now plug that into the port number 8 or whatever port you've set up. Now, because that's going to do 45 watts of power into the G62 as well. I'll then grab my corporate network cable that I prepared earlier. That will go into port number 9, which is not PoE, so we're not going to waste that port. Connect that up there. The other really interesting or handy feature of having that extra VLAN is if we want to, if we're limited by ports in the room, we can connect a TC10 off that port too. So we'll ask our glamorous hand model to pass that over to Paul. And we'll plug that into that 7th port on the. So, similar setup.
Still have one cable, Sean.
One more cable?
We still need to uplink the local link of the Poly StudioNet on the G62
The last kink in the chain.
to that VLAN.
Yeah.
We said port 6.
Port 6.
So now we are done.
It'd be super satisfying if you had that extra camera to fill up that port. So, run through last time. G62 getting power and data off the Netgear AV line switch off its own IP corporate network VLAN. Then the LLN port is coming out of that G62 into the separate VLAN, being the Poly StudioNet, which we've got all as black cables, powering and doing data for the first camera, the second camera. If we had a third camera, the third camera. And then we've got the A2 bridge on that too, with a maximum of 8 microphones there as well. Plus the TC10 running off that corporate network as well, with PoE being supplied from the switch. Quite comprehensive.
Yep.
Super satisfying.
Very
and not
flexible.
a single USB cable inside.
Yep.
Finally.
Finally.
Excellent. Paul, anything you want to add?
No, I think we've covered everything. Any questions, any comments, reach out to your friendly Poly HP tech.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul.
Pleasure.
Okay, Paul. So we've set them up now. Now we've got a white table microphone and a black table microphone. Now they're side by side just so we can show off in this video, aren't they? We wouldn't actually deploy them or recommend to deploy them that close to each other.
Yep.
Now, Paul, a question I get asked a lot is what happens if I mute one microphone?
Let's give that a try now. So if you mute one microphone, all microphones mute, including the onboard microphones.
So if you're using an X series or a V series all in one bar,
Yep.
it will actually work in a mesh with that bar as well?
Correct.
Correct.
And this is why we don't have individual microphone mute. The onboard microphones in these table mics are omnidirectional, and they pick up audio across that whole room space, and they utilize the audio from the strongest source, and that's what gets passed through.
So you're saying if I was sat down that end of the table and I muted my microphone, this microphone down here could still pick me up?
Correct.
So it's just keeping it totally safe, isn't it? Yeah. And it blocks that mic in the bar as well. So I guess now it's unmuted, we can see green.
Yep.
And in the bar that I'm looking at, I can see green as well.
Yep.
And then if we go red,
Press red.
for mute, the bar's gone red as well.
Yep.
Awesome. But what if I, on the TC10, the touch controller, if I hit the mute button on that, will that mute these microphones too?
Yes, it will.
Excellent. Excellent.
And what we're also demonstrating here, Sean, is the cables coming out through the side for a tabletop cable installation, as well as the cable coming out through the bottom. Installation is completely flexible for what the requirements are.
Yeah, and so this cable here comes in black and white as well.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, so if you buy the black microphone, it comes with all the black cables.
Yep.
If you buy the white microphone, it comes with the white cables.
Correct.
And do you know if we can get those cables individually if we wanted to, for whatever reason?
All the cables you need come in the box. You can get spare parts. Reach out to your disty for those SKUs.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, Paul, so just confirming, the cable, the daisy chain cable, the JST to JST that comes with it, that's 1.8 meters long?
Yes, pre-terminated, 1.8 meters.
And what do we recommend is the minimum/maximum distance between the two microphones?
Yeah, so from 1.2 meters minimum up to 1.8 meters maximum.
Excellent. Okay. And I've actually dusted off these microphones. So we've got the IP table microphone with the RJ45 port that used to come with the G7500 codec. And I've also got the RJ11 expansion mic, which has that little RJ11 port in the bottom there. So, Paul, what's the difference between all these microphones?
Yep. So this microphone here is a analog microphone direct connect to the bar. You can use a cable adapter from RJ11 to RJ45 to extend this.
Is that this one I've got here?
That is the one that you have there. And you need a minimum of Cat5e cables in between there up to a maximum 30 meters.
So that will convert the RJ11 of the mic to RJ45 Cat5e up to 30 meters, and then out of this into the Studio USB, the Studio X50, and the Studio X70, then the X52, X72 V52 V72, and that's still a current product.
That is still a current product. Now, the biggest difference with this is it is a single microphone expansion option only.
Yeah. So if we were in a setup where we just needed one single microphone direct from the bar to the table, we'd go for the analog expansion mic.
Yep, definitely cost effective, easy to install, easy to configure, plug and play, 1.8 meter radius pickup audio from the microphone. So normally we would recommend it to be installed 3/4 down towards the end of the table to pick up that audio towards the back.
And I think that does have a red mute button on there as well. Excellent, thanks, Paul. Now the next one, which is similar size but a bit more boxy, we've got the IP table mic that comes with the G7500 codec. So what's the difference between this microphone and the new IP microphone?
Yeah, so the new IP microphones versus the old tabletop microphones that we had is a different architecture of cabling. These are point to point, so from the microphone goes back to the Netgear switch or to the bar. Needs to be powered as well. The DSP processing is done on the mic, passing it through, whereas our new microphones are 2-wire shielded cable daisy chainable. And this is a maximum of 3, only supported on the G7500, G62, and X72. The new microphones with the A2 bridge supported on the X32, X52, X72, G62, V52, V72, and the direct connect microphone to the V12.
So anything generation 2, again being the 2 after the name, so 32, 52, 72, matches with the A2 audio bridge.
Correct. This has a pickup of around 1.8 meters, and this has a pickup of around 4 meters if you have NoiseblockAI version 2 turned on, and 1.8 meters with no NoiseblockAI turned on.
Okay, Paul. So the IP table mic, that has been superseded by the new A2 table mic.
Correct.
Correct. So that will only be around while stocks last, and everything will move over to that. So, Paul, ceiling mic.
We still have our G7500 ceiling microphones that are still being produced, still being sold as our in-market ceiling audio solution.
So those are the classic white golf ball Foley mics.
Correct.
Excellent. So they work with the G7500, up to 3 of them.
Yep.
G62, up to 3 of them. X72, up to 3 of them. And then the V72 as well.
Correct.
Up to 3 of them. So they will require the Netgear AV switch.
Yes.
As a bridge, I suppose, in that setup between the bar, the codec, and the microphone itself.
Correct.
Excellent.
It's been a pleasure, Sean.
An absolute pleasure, Paul. Until next time.
Till next time.